Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric and I am the Fraudiophile. So it was just announced this last week that Pink Floyd will be releasing a new vinyl version of Live at Pompeii. Pink Floyd is one of my favorite bands, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about my favorite Pink Floyd albums, rank all of them from 15 to 1, and I'd also like to do a giveaway. Right now I have 325 subscribers as of March 1st, 2025. And we're going to do a giveaway. We are going to give away this sealed copy of Dark Side of the Moon, either on April 1st or if I hit 500 subscribers. So more information at the end of the video. Make sure you check out the end of the video for what you have to do to subscribe. So today we're going to rank the top Pink Floyd studio albums, and we're just going to do studio albums, not the others. Now, I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, have been since I've been in high school, and have a lot of things outside of the studio albums, but today all we're going to talk about are those. I will show you really quick some of the things I do have that are non-studio albums. Got to have a copy of The Wall on DVD. It's a shame that this isn't available on Blu-ray. We have a copy of The Wall Live. This is a box set of CDs of The Wall Live. This is super cool, great recording. I gotta have the Pulse DVDs to be able to watch. I have a ton of CDs, Pink Floyd too. I'll actually tell a story a little later about the Shine On box set. But for other albums that we're not gonna talk too much about today, Delicate Sound of Thunder, which is a live recording of Pink Floyd. Have a cool picture disc that I actually won in a Whatnot auction of the Division Bell. This just came out with the 50th anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon. This is live at Wembley Stadium. This is Dark Side of the Moon from beginning to end. Great sounding live record. And this is sort of a studio album. It is a studio album, but we're gonna keep this one separate. This is the 2018 remix of Animals, completely redone with CDs, Blu-rays, and the LP. And the other one we're not really gonna cover today, but one of my all-time favorite recordings is the Pulse box set, 4-record box set that was recorded in the mid-90s. This is an excellent, excellent box set of records. I listen to this actually quite a bit. So let's actually talk about the studio records. Let's rank these babies from number 15 down to number 1. I actually have these in 5 different tiers. So my first tier is the ones I hardly ever listen to, and we'll go through these ones really, really quickly. First or worst, 15th, whatever we want to call it, is going to be Ummagumma or Ummagumma. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Not a great album. It's a double album. There is one that's studio record that is each member of the band really performing their own suite, and then there's a live album. I actually kind of like the live album quite a bit, but the studio album I think is just it's a bunch of noise. It's an experiment. It's not great. I don't want to get too much into this. Least favorite studio album, my least favorite studio album, and most people's least favorite studio album as well. Next, let's talk about More. So this was a soundtrack that the band did. Again, not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination. This one came out in 1969. It's kind of in that transition period between the Syd Barrett era and when they were really getting going with David Gilmour. So Gilmour does contribute a lot of the writing on this. Again, very, very, very rarely do I listen to this album. Listen to it a few times. The Nile song, Cymbeline, those would be my 2 favorites off of this. But those, Ummagumma and More, for me, fall into tier, let's just call it tier 5, which would be records I very, very, very rarely listen to. And probably only own because I'm a completist when it comes to Pink Floyd and want to have all of their records. So number 13 in the list would be The Endless River. This was just released not too many years ago. 2014 is when this came out. So really this is more of a tribute to Richard Wright. It's mostly outtakes from the Division Bell, very keyboard driven. You know, I don't think there are actually any lyrics to this. Good to listen to, like when I'm doing a heavy bout of work or studying. just kind of great to have on in the background, but not something I would sit and do a lot of critical listening for. So also in this tier 4 would be The Final Cut. So this is from 1983. If you're a Floyd fan, I'm sure you understand this was regarded by many as a Roger Waters solo album. This came after The Wall, when there was all the tension in the band, and really the last record made when the group was together, before Roger Waters left the group. So again, a pretty good album, not great. Don't listen to this a whole lot. The Gunner's Dream is probably my favorite song on this. Not Now John isn't bad. I need to listen to this more. I've probably only listened to this one 4 or 5 times. Maybe I'd like it more if I listen to it more, but I'm a big Gilmore guy, so this one is not my favorite. Let's go down to number 11, Obscured by Clouds. Another one that was a soundtrack very similar to More, that the band put together in, when did this one come out? This was before Dark Side of the Moon, so this would be 70, 71-ish, somewhere in that range. Again, another one, I don't mind this album. Don't listen to it a whole lot. Again, if I'm doing a work bout, study background music, this works really well for that, because when I'm not doing critical listening. Free 4, What's the Deal, and Mudmen would be my favorites on this. Number 10, one of the coolest album covers, actually, Adam Hart Mother. This is in that same tier of albums that I don't listen to very often. I've probably listened to this one maybe a half dozen times, if not a few more than that. The first side is the Adam Hart Mother Suite, which is actually really cool. And then I like Fat Old Son and Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast as well. Very kind of psyche, trippy album before they moved into their more poppy, guitar-driven things. Don't mind this record. Again, probably another one I need to give a few more listens to. That's this 4th tier is records that are okay, but need a few more listens from me before they would move up my list. Let's go down to tier 3. This would be number 9, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Most of you know this would be the Pearl Jam. This would be Pink Floyd's first album. This is back in the days with Syd Barrett, before he kind of lost it. Some cool stuff on here. Astronomy Domine is probably my favorite. Interstellar Overdrive, I also really like off of this. Those would be my favorites off of this album. Once we get to this tier, these are albums I listen to quite often. But the Syd Barrett era is, while cool and quite different, not my complete Pink Floyd vibe. But again, good record. Definitely recommend listening to this, but kind of need to be in the right mood for it. Along in that same tier, my number 8 Pink Floyd record would be Saucer Full of Secrets. Again, this was the transition from Syd Barrett to David Gilmour. So this one has some Gilmour songs. It actually has some Syd Barrett songs on it as well. Set Controls for the Heart of the Sun would be my favorite off of this. The most interesting song in here, I think, is Corporal Clegg, which is actually kind of a catchy tune, but there are kazoos on it. Let me know what you think in the comments of the kazoos on Corporal Clegg. Some people love it, some people hate it. Again, listen to this record a little bit more than I listened to the ones I've mentioned before. Again, probably should give both Piper and Saucer Full of Secrets a few more listens than what I do now. But this is where I really like to start getting into Floyd, is at this level. All right, so now we're going to jump up to tier 2. So let me tell a quick story here, speaking of things we're not reviewing. I bought a box set back in 1996 of Pink Floyd. I bought the Shine On box set. I was actually kind of late to Floyd, really started listening to them when I was in high school, and was really getting into them kind of mid-late 90s, and bought the Shine On box set. Now, these next 7 albums that I'm going to talk about, actually 6 of the next 7 I'm going to talk about, were actually in that Shine On box set. I still have the CDs here. I wish I had the book. At some point, I'm going to rebuy that just so I have the book in all of the cases. I still have the CDs and listen to them all the time. They sound fantastic. So if you ever get a chance to get that Shine On box set for a good price, pick it up. It's fantastic. So starting with our next tier, let's go with number 7, Momentary Lapse of Reason. Now this is the 2-disc 45 RPM version that just came out a few years ago that has the drums re-recorded with Nick Mason. And this is a really good album. I really like this. This is one of my starting points for Floyd. You know, this one came out, I believe it was 1989-ish, somewhere in that range. Remember hearing Learning to Fly on MTV and seeing the video for it. I thought it was super cool. I was like, whoa, this is Pink Floyd, huh? Didn't realize at the time this was Pink Floyd sans Roger Waters. This is the first album without Roger Waters. David Gilmour really drives this album, wrote pretty much all of the music. Polly Sampson wrote a lot of the lyrics along with him on this as well. Very cool record. My favorites on here, obviously Learning to Fly, I think is a fantastic song. On the Turning Away, it's a great tune, as well as One Slip. So this tier again is where I really started listening to Floyd. I listen to these albums all the time. Number 6, on most people's list, I think this one ranks higher than it does for me, but this is The Wall. Got some great songs on here. Obviously, everybody knows the story of The Wall. I'm not going to get too deep into it about Roger Waters and how this was written about how he's, you know, kind of built a wall between himself, and it's about the fictional character Pink. Super great album. It's, for me, I don't listen to this as much as I probably should, just because the kind of the last half, once you get past Comfortably Numb, it gets a little grating for me. So, and I'm the kind of guy, very rarely do I just listen to certain songs. I will listen to albums from beginning to end. So I actually did just listen to this the other day and loved it. Made it all the way through, and it sounded fantastic. Obviously the big ones off of here: Comfortably Numb, Hey You, In the Flesh, and obviously Another Brick in the Wall is another one that flows through the entire album. Number 5 in my list is going to be Metal. This, to me, is when Floyd really, really came into their own, was with this album. The big one everybody knows off of this, obviously, is the entire side 2 is Echoes, which is, I believe, is it 20 minutes long, somewhere in that range. Great song just to put on and listen to. And, you know, speaking of what I kicked off at the beginning of this, was what's triggered this video was the Live at Pompeii that's coming out on vinyl. The live version they do of Echoes in Pompeii is just absolutely amazing, and watching the band go through it in Pompeii is so cool. But great album, love this. Obviously Echoes, One of These Days is a great song. I also love Fearless off of this too, even with the soccer chant at the end of it. So Metal, number 5. So Momentary Lapse of Reason, The Wall, and Metal, they are in my tier 2. So albums I listen to quite a bit, but not quite as often as I listen to my top 4. So number 4 for me is Animals. Absolutely love everything about this album. The song Pigs is one of my favorite Floyd songs of all time. I also like long songs. I've realized this over the last couple of months, that I find myself listening more and more to songs that are long. I realized this when I was listening to Wilco's Spiders Kid Smoke the other day. I'm like, man, I like songs that are like 10 minutes long. So if you like long songs, this is the one for you. Pigs is long, Sheep, Dogs, Pigs on the Wing starts and begins this album. Great political message to this as well. Mentioned one of my earlier videos, not a huge fan of Roger Waters and where he's gone with some of his politics lately. There's a great video of him performing Pigs live, which just absolutely destroys Donald Trump. I will put a link to that video in the description just so you can check it out. Super great. But yeah, Animals, fantastic. Like I showed you before, I bought the 2018 remix, which is really great sounding. You know, a lot more bass, a lot more to the drums, are much more clear on it. But yeah, it's just an awesome album from beginning to end. Number 3 for me is The Division Bell. And again, I know a lot of people, this is a pretty divisive album with a lot of Pink Floyd fans. But for me, I think it was place and time why I like this so much. You know, I graduated high school in 1994, about the time this came out. So we listened to a ton of this album. Really kicked myself that I didn't go to the concerts when they were happening in 94 and 95 for the Division Bell. I would have loved to have had a chance to see the band play there. But this one has, Take It Back. I think Coming Back to Life is probably my favorite on this. And I think High Hopes is a great song too. So I mentioned before, I really like the David Gilmour Pink Floyd. I mean, this is Gilmour in his prime. The guitar solos on this are fantastic. Love the song structure. Again, a lot of long songs, which I've really gotten into lately. But a great album. This, again, was really my gateway into Floyd. All right, two left. Obviously, you know which two these are. I have to go with number 2 of Wish You Were Here. I do think my favorite piece of work that Floyd has done throughout their career is Shine On You Crazy Diamond, which, eats up pretty much the whole first side on this, other than Welcome to the Machine. Wish You Were Here, obviously, is another fantastic song, one of the first songs I ever learned to play in my terrible guitar playing, but learned to play that one pretty quick. Obviously, the iconic album cover. That's the other thing with Floyd, is all their album covers are so cool. Hypnosis did such a great job kind of displaying what the band was all about, or what these albums were about, or just made you think and look at the different albums. So yeah, Wish You Were Here is number 2 for me, which leads to number 1, which I think is the perfect album. If I had to pick one album to listen to from beginning to end, it's this. And I don't listen to one song from this. I turn it on, I start with Speak to Me, and I go right through Brain Damage and Eclipse every single time. This is the 50th anniversary edition. I have another copy of the 2016. I got the live version. Pulse, they played this from beginning to end too, so I have multiple versions. And I have a 70s version of this as well. One of those albums that I can't have enough copies of. I've got an SA CD. I've got, I think, 3 different CD copies as well. So yeah, Dark Side of the Moon. I mean, what needs to be said about this? To me, this is pretty much the perfect album, the concept album from beginning to end, and just absolutely love everything about this. So let's talk a little bit about the contest that I'm going to do, the giveaway. So like I said, I've got a sealed copy of the 2016 remaster of Dark Side of the Moon that I am going to give away. This will take place when I either hit 500 subscribers. So if you are not already subscribed, please subscribe, help me get to that 500 number, or we'll give it away on April 1st, 2025. So to enter the contest, very simple. Number 1, you need to be subscribed to my channel. And then I need you to comment. I want you to comment with your top 3 Pink Floyd albums. Once you do that, you are entered. Once we get to either 500 subscribers or April 1st, I'll plug everybody who's into Excel, and we will do a random drawing. I will record that drawing and let the person, whoever wins, knows that this is coming their way. We'll reach out to you, contact you, and I will cover shipping and everything on this. So it's an absolutely free giveaway. So let me know what you think. Please, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments, again, what your top 3 Pink Floyd albums are, in what order. And then tell me I'm an idiot. If you think my list is awful, let me know that. If you like my list, if you agree with it, let me know. So thanks again for watching. Again, my name is Eric. This is the Fraudiophile, and thanks for checking me out.